Life can be hard. We all face challenges. These challenges can come in many forms: financial struggles, health issues, relationship problems, or even just the daily grind that wears us down. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and lost, as if the weight of the world is pressing down on our shoulders. Sometimes it feels like we are walking through a dark valley. The path ahead seems uncertain and the shadows around us grow longer and more intimidating. We may feel isolated, as if no one understands what we are going through. But even in the darkest times, there is hope. Just as the dawn breaks after the longest night, there is always a glimmer of light that can pierce through the darkness. This light can come from unexpected places: a kind word from a stranger, a helping hand from a friend, or a moment of clarity that brings new perspective. There is a light that can guide us. This light is not just a physical one, but a spiritual and emotional beacon that leads us through our toughest times. It can be the inner strength we didn't know we had, or the faith that keeps us moving forward when everything else seems to be falling apart. That light is our faith. Faith is more than just belief. It is a deep-seated trust in something greater than ourselves. It is the assurance that we are not alone, and that there is a purpose and a plan for our lives, even when we cannot see it. Faith is a powerful force. It can move mountains and change lives. It gives us the courage to face our fears and the resilience to overcome obstacles. It connects us to a community of believers who support and uplift us. It gives us strength when we are weak. When we feel like we can't go on, faith provides the fortitude to take one more step, to try one more time. It reminds us that we are stronger than we think and that we have the support of a higher power. It gives us hope when we are discouraged. In moments of despair, faith lifts our spirits and renews our sense of purpose. It helps us to see beyond our current struggles and to believe in a brighter future. It gives us peace when we are afraid. In the midst of chaos and uncertainty, faith provides a calm center. It reassures us that we are cared for and that everything will work out in the end, even if we can't see how right now. When we put our faith in God, we are not alone. We become part of a larger story, one that is filled with love, compassion, and grace. We find comfort in knowing that we are part of a divine plan and that we are never truly alone. We have a loving Father who is always with us. His presence is a constant source of comfort and strength. He knows our struggles and our pain, and He walks with us through every trial and tribulation. He will never leave us nor forsake us. This promise is a cornerstone of our faith. It assures us that no matter what happens, we are never abandoned. We are always held in the loving arms of our Creator. In this essay, we will explore how faith can help us overcome life's challenges. We will delve into the ways that faith provides strength, hope, and peace. We will examine how it connects us to a supportive community and a loving God. We will look at Bible verses that inspire strength and resilience. These verses are not just words on a page. They are living promises that have the power to transform our lives. They remind us of God's faithfulness and His unwavering love for us. And we will hear stories of people who have found hope and healing through their faith. These testimonies are powerful reminders that we are not alone in our struggles. They show us that faith can lead to incredible transformations and that there is always a light in the darkness. Imagine a ship caught in a fierce storm. The sky is dark, the clouds are heavy, and the sea is wild. The ship is tossed about by the relentless waves, and it seems as though it might be swallowed by the ocean at any moment. The waves are crashing against the deck with a force that feels almost supernatural. The wind is howling like a wild beast, tearing at the sails and making it nearly impossible to hear anything else. The sailors are struggling to keep their footing, their faces etched with fear and determination. They know that their lives hang in the balance, but there is one thing that can save them: the anchor. As the anchor is lowered into the turbulent sea, it finds a firm hold on the ocean floor. The ship, though still battered by the storm, is now held steady. The anchor provides a sense of security, a lifeline in the chaos. Faith is like an anchor. It keeps us grounded when the storms of life rage around us. Just as the anchor holds the ship steady, faith holds us steady. It gives us something to cling to when everything else seems to be falling apart. When we put our faith in God, we are trusting that He will see us through. We are believing that He has a plan, even when we can't see it. We are holding on to the hope that He will guide us safely to the other side of the storm. The Bible tells us that faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Hebrews 11:1. This means that faith is not just a vague hope or wishful thinking. It is a confident belief in something that we cannot see with our eyes, but that we know in our hearts to be true. In other words, faith is believing in something that we cannot see. It is trusting that there is a greater purpose at work, even when we don't understand what it is. It is knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, even when we are surrounded by darkness. It is trusting that God is at work, even when we don't understand what He is doing. It is believing that He is in control, even when everything around us seems out of control. It is holding on to the promise that He will never leave us or forsake us. When we have faith, we can face our challenges with courage and confidence. We can stand strong in the face of adversity, knowing that we are not alone. We can smile in the midst of the storm because we know that God is with us. We know that God is with us and that He will never let us go. No matter how fierce the storm, no matter how dark the night, we can hold on to our faith. It is our anchor, our lifeline, our source of strength and hope, and with it, we can weather any storm. Life is full of challenges. We face difficulties at work, in our relationships, and with our health. Sometimes it feels like the challenges will never end. But even in the midst of our struggles, we can find strength in our faith. God promises to be with us always, no matter what we are going through. When we are facing a challenge, it is important to remember that we are not alone. God is with us, and He will help us through it. We can turn to Him in prayer, and we can find comfort and strength in His Word. The Bible is filled with verses that offer strength and encouragement. When we are feeling weak, we can turn to these verses for inspiration. One of my favorite verses is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. This verse reminds us that we are not limited by our own strength. With God's help, we can do anything. Another encouraging verse is Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. This verse reminds us that God will give us the strength we need to keep going, even when we are tired and discouraged. Section 5, the importance of prayer, a lifeline to God. Prayer is one of the most powerful tools we have as Christians. When we pray, we are communicating with God, we are sharing our hearts with Him, and we are asking for His help. Prayer is not about saying the right words. It is about being honest with God and pouring out our hearts to Him. He already knows what we are going through, but He wants us to come to Him and talk to Him about it. When we pray, we can be confident that God hears us. And when we pray according to His will, He promises to answer us, as it says in 1 John chapter 5, verses 14 to 15. Section 6. The power of community, strength in numbers. We were not created to go through life alone. God created us to live in community with other believers. When we are part of a church family, we have people who can support us and encourage us. We can share our burdens with each other, and we can pray for one another. If you are not already part of a church, I encourage you to find one. There is strength in numbers, and you will be blessed by the love and support of other believers. Section 7. Personal Reflections. A Journey of Faith and Resilience. I have experienced the power of faith in my own life. It has been a guiding light, a source of strength, and a wellspring of hope. Faith has carried me through the darkest of times and has been a constant companion in my journey. There have been times when I have faced challenges that seemed insurmountable. Moments when the weight of the world felt too heavy to bear and the path ahead seemed shrouded in darkness. These were the times when my faith was truly tested. But through it all, God has been faithful. His presence has been a beacon of light, guiding me through the storm. His promises have been a source of comfort, reminding me that I am never alone. I remember one particular time when I was going through a very difficult season. It felt like everything was falling apart and I was struggling to keep my head above water. The stress was overwhelming and I felt like I was drowning. I was facing a lot of stress at work and my health was suffering. The pressure was relentless, and it was taking a toll on my body and mind. I felt like I was on the brink of breaking down. I was starting to feel hopeless. The nights were long and sleepless, filled with anxiety and fear. I couldn't see a way out, and the future seemed bleak. But then I remembered the verse from Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Those words resonated deeply within me, and I clung to them like a lifeline. I clung to that verse, and I started praying for God to give me strength. I poured out my heart to Him, asking for His guidance and support. I knew that I couldn't do it on my own, and I needed His help. And you know what? He did. Slowly but surely I began to feel a sense of peace and strength that I hadn't felt in a long time. It was as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders and I could breathe again. He gave me the strength to keep going, and He eventually brought me through that difficult season. It wasn't easy, and there were still challenges along the way, but I knew that I wasn't alone. God was with me every step of the journey. I learned that no matter what challenges I face in life, I can overcome them with God's help. Faith is not just a belief, it's a powerful force that can move mountains and transform lives. It has the power to heal, to restore, and to bring hope in the midst of despair. My journey of faith and resilience has taught me that with God, all things are possible. Section 8. Overcoming obstacles, faith in action. Faith is not passive. It is not something that we just talk about. True faith is active. It is something that we live out every day. When we face challenges, we need to put our faith into action. We need to trust that God will give us the strength and wisdom we need to overcome them. This may mean stepping out of our comfort zones. It may mean doing things that we are afraid of. But when we trust in God, we can be confident that He will be with us every step of the way. Section 9. The Promise of Hope. A Brighter Tomorrow. No matter what challenges you are facing today, there is always hope. God has a plan for your life, and His plan is good. The Bible tells us that we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Romans 8:28. Even when we don't understand what God is doing, we can trust that He is working all things together for our good. He is a good Father and He loves us. Section 10. Conclusion: embracing faith, embracing strength. Life is a journey and there will be ups and downs along the way. But through it all, we can find strength and hope in our faith. When we put our trust in God, we are not alone. He is always with us and He will never let us go. So embrace your faith, embrace the strength that God gives you, and know that no matter what challenges you face, you can overcome them with His help.